First, I just want to say good morning and thank you for having me. I'm honored to be among the speakers here today and tomorrow. So it's my first time in Costa Rica, and I'm having a great time. Thank you very much for inviting us. So one of the things I wanted to do is, as I talk to Arnaldo and I talk to different people at Santa Cafe, is talk a little bit about Farmer Brothers, the history, what we've gone through, the evolution, and how we're involved in the specialty coffee industry. So who we are today, like I said, especially, and focus on a couple of different things on the involvement of specialty coffee. Is leadership, a public domain coffee shop in Portland, and our direct trade program that we have, as well as where we're going to the future. As many of you probably heard earlier this year, we announced that we're moving from shutting down our roasting and corporate office in Los Angeles and moving to Texas, which is a pretty big move. Everybody's asking what's going to happen there. At the age of 21, Ward Farmer moved back to LA after working for a coffee company in San Francisco. He started selling from house to housewives. The first pound they had to store was from Barbara Horfo. He first would purchase the coffee and would actually sell it. But after he was growing the business, he realized this is a pretty good opportunity. So he bought a 50-pound roaster and installed it in his brother's bicycle shop, Frank's bicycle shop. After growing for a couple of years, he decided to buy a horse and buggy. This is one of our first trucks that we had. As many of you in the US, you can see some of our trucks driving down the roads with our big logo. This is one of our first trucks that we had. In 1915, he made his first sale to a restaurant. As many of you know, one of our main distributions for coffee is direct store distribution to restaurants. And so in 1915, one of the family members convinced him to go to a local restaurant and said, look, I think your coffee's pretty good. Why don't you go out, try to make a sale? And that's where he said, this is an opportunity to go out to restaurants, not only home to home, but go to restaurants and sell coffee. So he bought his first 2-bag roaster, Burns Jubilee, and installed it in what we call our first headquarters in downtown LA. From downtown LA, at that moment in time, we grew to 25 stores, restaurants in 1923, and also in 1923, we first started selling spices and extracts. In 1925, the coffee that we were selling was at 46 cents. So you can imagine where that coffee was, where the market was at that moment in time. Our first branch opened in 1928 in San Diego, which still exists today. It's actually one of our main offices that we have in our system. In our first acquisition, and as I go through the presentation, you'll see how many acquisitions we did. Our first coffee acquisition for another company was in 1929, a company called Dern Coffee. By the end of the 1920s, we had 3 branches that we had opened throughout Southern California. From then, there was a lot of growth, what we call our super growth. The first out-of-state branch was in Phoenix in 1930. A total of 11 branches were opened in the 1930s. We started also a company called Western Urn Company. What Frank and Roy decided was, why buy coffee equipment from somebody if we can make it ourselves? So they started the Western Urn Company, which later changed to Bromatica in the 1970s. We had a lot of equipment during the 1930s, 5-pound machines, a 1-pound machine. We added a 4-bag Burns roaster as well. And then at the end of the 1930s, we added 3 more roasters to the facility, making our total production 3.6 million pounds of sold coffee, roasted coffee. Here's several pictures of the 1940s. We added another 11 branches in the 1940s. By 1941, we were producing 4.4 million pounds. Due to the draft, we lost 100 employees going out to fight for our country. And a new coffee blend was created. It was difficult importing coffee at that moment in time. And I'm not going to say as many as you know, because, but there was a blue blend that was created that used chickpeas. So it was coffee, a 50% blend of coffee and 50% chickpeas. And that was throughout the 1940s, throughout the war. With that growth that we had, Roy decided to buy 20 acres of land in 1947 in Torrance, California, which is where our soon-to-be old corporate office is at. By that late 40s, we had 12,000 accounts, restaurants and homes, and we were selling 11.5 million pounds of coffee. So the big move came. These are pictures of our facility that was being built in Torrance. By 1951, we were at 14.2 million pounds. But unfortunately, our founder, Roy E. Farmer, passed away on July 4th, 1951. And at that moment in time, it became a publicly traded company. His son took over and was CEO and president for the next decades. The facility was completed in 1952. It was a full coffee production facility. We opened another 36 branches, and we made 5 acquisitions during the 1950s. The most well-known, Mellow Cup and Beneford Coffee out of LA. We also acquired 2 Maxwell House distribution centers during the 50s, and also Almacenadora, which is in 1956, which was a green coffee supplier and a buyer and supplier. By 1961, we bought several other buildings where we would manufacture our own equipment. We added 10 more branches. We had 5 more coffee acquisitions. The biggest at that moment in time was O'Connor, which then came back as Renoco Coffee. We also bought chili products and the McClintock Stern Company, which created our spice products division that exists today. This is a picture of our catering company, our catering truck, because we also created catering trucks as well. In 1972, Western Urn, as I mentioned earlier, changed its name to Dramatic. Dramatic is still a coffee brewing equipment company that exists under a brand name. In the US, you will find Dramatic equipment, which we actually still manage, maintain, and refurbish back into our accounts. 2 other coffee companies were acquired at that moment in time. Davies Coffees and Dale Brothers from Fresno. And in 1979, something that some of you may not know, we created a finance company called FBC Finance. And 10 more branches were created. We had a little bit of advertisement. Here's Farmer Brothers cans with the Giants. A couple pictures of the coffee companies we acquired. In the 80s, it was our 75th anniversary. We bought 2 continuous Burns roasters and installed them in a facility in Torrance. We also acquired Matthews and Burn Coffee Company, and that was the last of the acquisitions, making it total between the 30s and the 80s, 14 acquisitions in total. Roy E. Farmer, what we call Junior, was made Vice President of Operations. In the 80s, we also added another 22 branches. And when I say branches, it's a small warehouse where we distribute our direct store distribution to restaurants, donor shops, and what have you from our accounts. In the 90s, we added another 5 branches, making a total of over 105 branches. So that takes us to who we are today. In the 2000s, unfortunately, we had a couple of different events that happened. We lost Roy F. Farmer, which some of us consider the old man, senior, Mr. Farmer, you name it. Even folks in this room that have met Mr. Farmer, Roy, they have different names for him. And at the facility in our company, we also have different names. But the old man and senior was the most prominent. He passed away in 2004. Unfortunately, Roy Jr., his son, passed away a year later. At that moment in time, Jonathan Waite, the grandson of Roy, took over as the head of Green Coffee. And Gunther Berger was the longtime employee for Farmer Brothers, took over as CEO for about 2 years. In 2007, we named our first, what we call outside of the family CEO and president, Rocky Laverty. Rocky had a great vision for growth and just evolution, innovation. So in 2007, we decided to acquire Coffee Bean International, a well-known specialty coffee producer and provider out of the Northwest. It was an enhancement to our line of what we would consider traditional commercial premium coffees to acquire a specialty coffee roaster of this size and this magnitude. It also brought to us large national accounts like Target, Nordstrom, Macy's, other folks that at the moment in time, prior to, we were not able to produce and provide that service to those type of accounts. We acquired substantial coffee expertise through the group in Portland, the Bynum Group, and the quality group that we had there. And in 2008, we moved them from the 5-story building to a brand new facility in Portland, which exists today, and we're producing that. The next major acquisition that Rocky decided that was important for us to do to take us to that, again, the next evolution of Farmer Brothers was acquiring the Sara Lee DSD division. And that happened in 2009. What that gave us was another facility in Houston, 3 more distribution centers in Oklahoma, North Lake, Illinois, and Milwaukee, New Jersey. It gave us the full nationwide DSD network. Now before, we were considered a West Coast operation. Even though we were through the Missouri, this gave us a full grasp of the whole United States. And it increased the efficiencies across the supply chain was the key to one of our successes during that time. So today, we have 2 strategic facilities, one in Portland and Houston, over 100 years, from 1912. We have 5 distribution centers, 111 branches in total today, 60,000 plus customers, 470 routes. Our routes are delivered from our branches to different locations. Those are delivery trucks that we have throughout our system. And we have over 1,800 employees as we speak today, which we're very proud of. And it's just phenomenal. We can deliver at this moment in time with the facilities and the experience that we have, the 3 tiers, what we call our 3 tiers, specialty, premium, and traditional. Our specialty is provided with a brand called Artisan Coffee. Our CEO today, Mike Cowan, actually was one of the promoters of that. Mike is actually sitting here in the audience. And we created that brand in 2012. Our premium coffee line is provided with the Metropolitan brand and our traditional, of course, with our Farmer Brothers. Now, one of the questions was that I was posed to me was, how are we involved in specialty coffee? I'm speaking to the Specialty Coffee Group, and how are we involved? One of the items that we are involved is our leadership. At one point in time, a couple of years ago, we had the president of the SCAA, we had the president of the PCCA, and the chair of the Roasters Guild. And at the same time, we had a board member, Mike, in the WCR, and the different other areas in programs, associations in the specialty industry. It's a way for us to be involved, for us to show our customers, to get into the trends, to be an educator, to be a trainer, to bring people in the house and understand what is out in the field to bring it in-house into our customers. But at the same time, it's an opportunity for us to give back to the community and what we know and share. The other way that we're involved is a coffee shop that we have in Portland, public domain. It's in downtown Portland. What we do here is we find special micro lots to share and to celebrate in our coffee shop. We buy 3 micro lots for every 2 to 3 months. At the same time, we do our training, we call it our innovation lab. So we seek out these special coffees to be able to come bring them back to the Northwest and showcase them and celebrate them. We have single origin espressos. We also support our baristas and championships, barista championships and training, season offerings. And this is just a portrayal of our coffee shop to be able to showcase that specialty aspect of the business. Now, that takes us to a little further deeper level, which is a program that we created several years ago called Project Direct. Project Direct is our own proprietary program under the direct trade aspect of it. And it was created by Molly Lavery and Paul Thornton in Portland. These are the 6 principles that we feel are very important to the program for it to be successful. Today, we work in Tanzania, in Nicaragua, Peru, Colombia, and El Salvador. The direct trade program consists of these 6 principles: coffee quality, tiered pricing, supply chain transparency, farm and regional stability, sustainable practices, and consumer education. And all equally important, not in any form, shape that are more and more important than the other. We feel that if it is equally important, we're more successful in that matter. From this Project Direct, we created, and this principles, we created a framework for it to be successful as well. It included looking at identification, assessment, engagement, measurement, and assurance. to be able to provide these areas and focus on these principles and areas of framework, we could go to each of the producers, each of the countries, each of the origins, and create a successful program for both ourselves, the consumer, and our producers. What I wanted to talk a little bit about is our showcasing a program that we have in Colombia, which is getting a lot of attention and a lot of energy, as some of you may be aware of. Today, we're in 2 different areas, Valle, Antioquia. We're actually, in this section number is a little over 1,200 farmers. I found out today, actually, we have over 1,500 farmers that we're working with in Colombia with this program. We focus on technical assistance, we focus on food security, quality, and productivity. So when we go out with a team, and I will go back to one slide so I get the team close up here. Said we partner with different groups to be able to go out, not only by ourselves, but with expertise, and help our producers grow and understand what we're looking for, but at the same time give that to the consumer. The partner that we have in this program is McDonald's, and the fruition of this program has been so successful, so enormously welcoming by Colombia that we want to be able to educate you guys, educate ourselves, other people, so they could take that learning and go to another origin. This is one of the things that we wanted to make sure is that everybody was involved, not only from the roaster side, the producer side, the exporter, the importer, everybody in the supply chain to be able to understand what's important, but everybody have a voice. So here you see some of our technical assistance folks, the lady on the green shirt, some of our producers with the white shirt, and speaking and learning what do we want in this program. This is some of the training that we did on the quality for them to understand, what are we looking for to create the best quality to essentially, create more money for them. The bottom picture is an example of us, the entire group being involved. So you got Cresta, you got McDonald's, ourselves, the RGC, the exporter, Expo Cafe, the exporter, and RGC, the importer. Again, discussing how we can make this program successful and bring the most value to the producer and the entire, everybody involved in the supply chain. Now, one of the things that has come to this is that what we push for is to try to create a program that is very women-based. In Colombia, the producers we're working with, a lot of the producers are owners are women. And so we wanted to create an environment that they also have a voice equally, and it's not more powerful than the men, because it is important for us to provide that opportunity for them. So at the end of our trip in Colombia about a month ago, we went to the IWCA, and there was a panel of speakers, and again, including everybody in the supply chain, from other producers, importer, exporters, and also a couple people from McDonald's, to be able to discuss and again educate, train everybody, and offer the opportunity to learn from us what we're doing, so that way we could actually then duplicate multiple times in any other location that we would like. Now, one of the things that I mentioned earlier, we announced that we're going to move to Texas, and everybody's wondering what's going to happen to us and what's going to look like, and when is that going to happen. It's scheduled to be in fall of 2016. These are a couple of renderings of our new facility and our corporate office, so you can have an understanding to where our focus is on. So different from our corporate office today, this is a nice, beautiful shot of our front office. It's going to be an open concept. Education and training and community is our focus. This is a coffee shop that we're going to have inside our facility, our corporate office, so people can come in and make their own drinks. We can educate our customers, educate our employees. It is an open concept in regards to having meetings, free-flowing for calls, open concept in regards to the offices as well. And again, to create a culture as well in the coffee, because as you might be questioning, you're closing down a facility that's been there for over 50 years, and now you're moving the company, hiring a lot of folks, they don't understand coffee, they don't know what that culture is. This is going to give us an opportunity to have an open concept and actually discuss coffee. That's what we want. We want to talk coffee. We want to be able to discuss it, drink it at any point in time in any other locations that we have. And that's going to be our focus. It's an exciting time for us. We're looking forward to it. And, you know, you guys are more than welcome when the facility opens in 2016. So, that's it. That's all I have. I hope that... One of the things I want to say, I hope I didn't sound like an advertisement. One of the things that I want to mention, because sometimes it's difficult because you're talking about the company, but we're very proud. We're very proud of what we've done. We've always feel that we've always had innovative thoughts and solutions. And again, it's an evolution for us to go where we're at in 1912 from the bicycle shop to where we are today. So, thank you. Any questions?
Monica Walker from Walker Coffee Trading. I just wanted to say congratulations, and I'm very proud of what you've accomplished, and I've seen you going through your career, and it's really nice to have somebody coming to Texas. We're in Houston, and welcome to Houston, to Texas.
All right.